What is going on, everybody? Welcome in. It's the Wager Alarm live stream Saturday night, baby. Howard Bender, Craig Mish. Craig, time to get our Westgate SuperContest picks in. Time is running out on the deadline. We are at 500, right? We have the exact same number of wins as we do losses through the first 6 weeks. This is it, dude. Over 500 and by a country mile.
Well, last week started off real well. We were 3-0. And we just fell apart late. So I am going to say, I'm going to agree with you. I think that we got a 4-1 or a 5-0 in us this week. We're pretty much in concert in the picks that we want. So I'm feeling solid about that. And anything is better than what we saw Thursday night, honestly. As long as the games go better than that Thursday night game, I'm feeling pretty good about it. That was tough to watch. Very tough.
That was, but you knew the Giants were going to lose at 21-10. You knew that there was like 6 minutes left and the Eagles were getting the ball back, and you just knew. I mean, it was
but they covered.
The Giants did cover, and the under hit, which was great.
The under hit, yes. It did.
So that was we did say that. You said take the Giants to the points, and we did lean towards that under. Just barely scraped away with it. So, but that's all right. A win is a win is a win. So here we go, talking tonight's SuperContest picks. Let's just get right to it.
Okay.
The first one we're taking, Detroit Lions. They are on the road in Atlanta. They're getting 2.5 points. And, yeah, listen, great that Atlanta did us right last week.
Yes.
But I'm still not buying them.
No, and I don't think that you should. 1 week is not going to – for that team in particular – you shouldn't really believe anything. This is one of those games where they have to make Atlanta favored because they're still at home. They are coming off a win. I mean, but there really isn't a lot to like about them, honestly. Like they're beyond the fact that they can throw it all over the place, which I think that they could in this game too. The total is 55. Went down a little bit actually from 56.5. I still think that, to me, this is a pivotal game for everyone's opinion with Detroit, right? Because if you really think that the Lions have a shot to either make the playoffs or finish 8-8, this is a game they got to win. The line opened at 3, went to 2.5, which is our line in the contest. It's sitting right now at Atlanta -2, so we're getting a little value there, getting a 0.5 point. I don't know that that's really going to factor into a game like this, though. A wild shootout usually doesn't come down to a 2 or a 2.5. 3 is a key number there. So we'll take Detroit plus the points. For me, this is my make or break on the Lions. If they win, it puts them at 3-3. And honestly, an 8-8 season may even get them in the playoffs. But if they lose, that's it. I'm done. I won't. I may go back and pick them again, but my belief won't be on them.
Right. Well, which I can understand. Listen, I think the Lions have a good, solid advantage here. You know, I think they do have the horses to keep pace. I mean, obviously, you'd like to see them, their receivers step up a little more. But we did get some good stuff out of DeAndre Swift last week.
Yeah, that's big.
And if they can run the ball a little bit more and try and, give you more methodical drives, maybe slow down the pace, maybe this game comes in at the under and it doesn't smash like everybody thinks it's going to. And they're able to do that because Atlanta's defense is just terrible. They do defend the run a little bit better than the pass, but even that is just it's suspect at best. So I like the Lions here at the 2.5. What was their win total coming into the season?
7. And look, you can't go back and change anything, but they had no business losing that first week. They were up on the Bears by 21, and then Swift dropped the ball in the end zone. I mean, think about that for a second. If Swift, you can't say if, it's the NFL. I understand that, but let's just play that game. If Swift catches the ball and they win this week, the Lions are 4-2. Yeah. I mean, think about that for a sec. And you'd feel a lot differently about the Lions at 4-2 versus 3-3. So I'm still on them. They've teased me a little bit. In fact, I think that the other game that they lost, they had a lean in also. They were beating somebody 14-0 a few weeks ago and then got crushed. Was it the Saints? I think it was the Saints that they were up on 14.
No, it was the Packers. They were up.
It was the Packers.
They were up big on and then coughed
I still like the talent on both sides of the football there, but they finally, for the first time last week, after the half when they were up, they kept pushing. They pushed against Jacksonville. So, like in the NFL, you just can't lay down anymore in this league, right? Like, teams can throw all over the place. And if you're going to try and play conservative, you're not going to win. And Patricia, that's the way he played all last year. And that's why I think they lost a lot of games. So, Pick one, Lions plus 2.5.
There it is. That's the only game we're taking from the early. Oh no, actually there is one more early slate game that we are taking, and that is the Steelers.
Yeah.
The card on the SuperContest, because they moved all the games around, is all out of whack here. So yeah, let's talk about it. Steelers getting a point. They're on the road against the Titans. The Titans, their defense has kind of gotten blown up. They've been playing in a couple of shootouts, a lot of close games there. The line is actually right now Steelers plus 1.5, so we lose that extra hook.
Right.
But again, this is as close to a pick 'em as we're looking at.
Yeah, and again, for our purposes too, over the last 3 years, whenever we've been on the Steelers, we've been right. I feel like we have a very high percentage of feeling good about them. And so we're 2 weeks in a row taking Pittsburgh and 2 weeks in a row winning. So why would we change that? And so let's go right back to Pittsburgh again and take them here. If they win, they improve to 6-0. If they lose by a point, we push. I don't think that will be the case. I think that Tennessee is good, but I think Pittsburgh may be as good as any team in the NFL. They're certainly playing like it right now. So we'll take them plus the point. Eventually, what I think is going to happen, and I think you saw it happen against Houston, is it looked like Tennessee in that first game off the COVID. Honestly, Howard, kind of like the Marlins and Cardinals were kind of like, we're going to show you that we don't.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they fell back a little bit. I could see Tennessee slipping a little bit moving forward. Maybe not necessarily losing, but losing against the spread. Because initially you get that first wave of we're back and we're excited. And then the reality sets in, I think. And it's not that the players aren't playing as hard, but there's no doubt that they were really determined that first game out. Yeah. So we'll take Pittsburgh here. It's working for us. Why are we going to change it? Let's do it again.
Makes no sense. Listen, it's strong run defense. You got to contain Derrick Henry.
That's the key. That's the key.
Steelers have definitely been giving up points. Through the air. We saw how the Eagles ended up besting, scoring points on them, even though the Steelers won, and they did cover, though they didn't deserve to cover that game. But so we are seeing that. But it's a stronger run defense. I'd like to see the Steelers offense get going a little bit more. They are getting back Deontay Johnson. So now with the emergence of Chase Claypool, they've got some really nice weapons here. So I like it, especially with the way that Tennessee's defense, particularly their secondary, has been struggling. So we'll take the Steelers plus 1. Those are the two early games. Now moving into the afternoon slate. Well, it's actually not even. The afternoon slate will go Bucks. Mm-hmm. We're taking the Bucks, giving 3.5 points to the Raiders. This all comes down to the fact that the offensive line for the Raiders has not practiced at all this week. And they also lost Trent Brown. So not only are they not practicing, but their right tackle is a backup. And with the way the Bucks defense is, the way the Bucks defense has been playing, I think that's the move.
Yeah, the Raiders were able to just go up and down the field on Kansas City. I think Tampa Bay's defense is better than theirs, and I think they're going to have a hard time. I could see the Bucks rolling off a few wins in a row here now. And look, signing Antonio Brown, I don't think is going to do anything for them on the field, but it does show a lot of confidence that they feel like they're about to make a serious run. Neither team necessarily needs it more. This isn't like a want game. Who needs it more? Raiders, if they lose, still alive. Bucks, if they lose, still alive too. But coming off the way that you could make the case that the Bucks defense is moving into that upper echelon with Baltimore, with Pittsburgh, maybe even with Indianapolis at this point. So we're getting a little value here, right? A point of value, is that right or no?
I don't know.
What do you got for a line there?
Did the line move? I'll tell you right now.
I got Bucks right now are -4.5. But what was it in the contest that we got?
3.5? In the contest, yeah, we're laying 3.5.
Yeah, so we get and 4 is a key number, so I feel good about that as well. Mm-hmm. And there's no home field for the Raiders whatsoever. The total isn't astronomically high. Like, this is going to be a game like Kansas City. It's 52, which is high, but it's not 57, 58.
Not in these times. It's not.
For this number, it's like a low number. So we'll take Tampa Bay here. And if we lose this one, we may have to go away from Tampa because that would be back-to-back weeks where we got wrong on them. So we'll take the Bucks -3.5.
Yeah. All right. And then we're going to move to the Sunday night game now. It was an afternoon game. Now it's been moved to the night. Seahawks, Arizona. Gotta ride Russell Wilson. Are they undefeated against the spread? Are they 6-0 against the 5-0 against the spread this year?
Are they 5-0 ATS too?
Yeah, I think they are 5-0 against the spread this year. I mean, again,
yeah, you're right.
I think Arizona
4-1. They do have a loss.
4-1. All right,
yeah,
I'll still take those odds there because I think Arizona's a fraud team. I really do. I think that this will be a shootout. Yeah, but the over under keeps coming down. It was like 57 like a couple of days ago, and now it's all the way down to 54.5. I don't have any faith in Arizona's defense. And in all honesty, they've got limited weapons. I don't like their ground game. Hopkins is not healthy. Give me Russell Wilson. Let Russ cook and give me the win.
Wilson's never lost in Arizona.
Never?
No.
Oh, see, there you go. Look at that. It's a hell of a fact. It's a hell of a fact.
I could go through it here. Let me take a look here. I heard that the other day. I hope that's right because that's what I heard. Okay, so 2016 Seahawks 36, Cardinals 6. 2017 Seahawks 22, Cardinals 16. 2018 Seahawks 20, Cardinals 17. So that's a cover for the Cardinals. 2019 Seahawks 27, Cardinals 10.
I've got this here from the matchup report. Over at Fantasy Alarm, done by our good friend Matt Sells, who produces over there. Seattle's coming off their bye week, and since 2012, the year Russell Wilson took over at quarterback, the Seahawks are 8-2 in games following a bye with an average margin of victory of 9 points.
Yeah, this is a great pick.
Yeah, that was yours too. Well, I mean, we both like it.
Yeah, we're both on it.
We're both on it.
I like it. I hate taking road favorites, but I like Seattle.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. No problem there. And then, okay, our final game, we're going to Monday Night Football, and where we usually like those home dogs. No, we're not doing that. We're taking the road dog here, getting the Bears +6 in this one. That is what the line is right now, so there's no added value. But this is about a lack of belief, really, in what the Rams have. And maybe we are selling the Bears a little bit short. Even if they lose the game, they're still staying in these games, and everything's a close one. So balls have been bouncing their way. Even if it doesn't bounce their way this time around, 6 points is a lot of points to take in a game where the over-under is 45.
It's the lowest total on the board and one of the higher spreads. So that doesn't really add up. Honestly, I mean, it kind of speaks to if the Rams win, them winning 27-6 or somewhere along those lines. But I've been impressed enough with the Bears, both offensively and defensively, to think that they can stay in the game. And while I do think that the Rams are good, they have shown their warts over the last few weeks. They started off, I believe it was 3-0, and they are 1-2 since. So I'm going to take the Bears here. And look, the line is pretty much set, so I think you're going to get equal play on both sides here. I do think the Bears have a chance to win the game on Monday night. I'm just not a huge Rams fan, and I think they've been a little bit of a pretender, and I think the Bears are a pretender too. So if they're going up against each other, why not just take the points?
Yeah.
And by the way, we're coming off 2 Monday night games where the Dogs lost. So yeah. I feel like we're going to get a bounce back here on Monday.
All right, so there you go. So those are the picks are in officially, and so it's Lions +2.5, Seahawks -3.5,
right?
Buccaneers -3.5, Steelers +1, Bears +6. Let's just kind of go through a couple of the other games here. I'm intrigued. One of the things that we've been joking about has been the Jets.
Yes.
And now in the Super Contest, it's the Jets are
13.
getting 13 points. Yeah. But in real life, that line has now gone down to 10.5. It started off at 13, went up to 13.5, and it has steadily dropped to 10.5 points here. Why aren't we taking the value here and taking the Jets? I mean, come on, 3 points, that's value, dude.
I'm not a huge fan of the Jets, man. Like they just look, I know in this series, the Jets and Bills tend to play close games, but I thought that last week against Miami. Now, we did not take the Jets last week. And again, it was Flacco. It was not Sam Darnold, but I don't see a lot of effort from the Jets. I really don't. And again, if they lost last week, Howard, 24-3 or 24-7, I may side with the Jets this week, but I think you have to fade them until they win. And usually in this situation, I am going in the direction of taking them because they're winless and eventually they will cover. But they've just played absolutely horrible, man. And I know Buffalo's not playing that great either, but I do think they'll be able to stop them, and I don't see good things coming for the Jets at all here. I don't know if they're going to score. Honestly, I don't know if they're going to score.
Are we automatically taking the Jets next week? I mean, taking the Chiefs next week?
I don't know about that. That may be a lot. That may be too much. 21? Yeah, no, that may be too much. So
is that the early look? Is it 21? Is that the early?
21, yeah.
Oh.
As of now, keep in mind, if the Jets lose to the Bills 42-0, it's going to be the highest spread in the history of the NFL.
Yeah. Especially, and if the Chiefs turn around and they just slaughter Denver.
I think 24 is the highest ever.
Okay.
So
I love
we'll
that.
see about that next week. Packers -3.5 at the Texans. And that's the highest total, I think, on the board of 57. Packers kind of burned us last week. I feel like they probably get right and get back. I know Aaron Jones is out, but Williams has played great when Jones has been out before. So I don't really see a drop off there. But whenever a team is up on Houston, Watson just says it's really amazing that Houston could just sleepwalk through every game in the NFL, and then they wake up in the fourth, and Watson's just throwing it around, and taking a lead like every time. Like, why don't just do that in the beginning of the game? It doesn't make sense, but feels like every game I watch, he's covering the spread because he's bringing the team back.
What about how about Cowboys Washington?
No.
It's a pick 'em in the Super Contest. Well, I mean, listen. If I turned around to you, I said this. I presented this to a friend of mine who's a Cowboys fan. I said, "Well, tell me what would happen if before the season started." I said Cowboys Redskins, or I'm sorry, Washington football team. That Washington would be favored by a point. I was like, "What would you have said?" And it was brutal. It was brutal. I mean, this is. This is going to be an interesting matchup here, only because the front seven for Washington is actually really good, and with no offensive line for Dallas, I mean it is it is not pretty.
We're just not the right people to ask about Dallas. Let's be honest.
No, we're not.
We're not. So, San Francisco at New England. The Patriots rarely lose 2 in a row at home under Belichick. It never happens. But then again, they don't have Brady, so you never know. They opened up as a point dog. Now they're 2.5-point favorites. 49ers are still banged up. I suppose they have some running back that'll get them through the game. And for New England, the loss last week could have been a lot worse if Denver had converted some third down opportunities. Mm-hmm. So that being said, I do like New England a little bit at home in the spot, but not enough to take them here. Close, close
me neither. Chargers at home. It's 7.5 now. It was 8.
Strict betting rules to be followed.
Chargers
never
at
take
home.
The Chargers as a favorite.
7 or more. Never.
Now, you can pass like we are, but don't ever take the Chargers. The Chargers are not going to cover the spread. Probably not. But it is Jacksonville, and they're playing worse than any team in the NFL. So therefore, we're just going to pass it. If I had to lean, it would be Jacksonville. No question.
Yeah, it would be me as well. And yet,
Chargers terrible as favorites for as long as I can ever remember. I don't know why they are such big favorites in these spots. They never cover. They're 1-4.
Right?
They're 1-4, and they're 7.5 over the Jaguars. Why?
The funny part about this is you want to talk about the dichotomy of fantasy versus wagering. You look at the matchup, and everybody on the Chargers side is technically in a smash spot for themselves, and you're looking at them doing well. So what it's done really is it's making me hedge and not using the Chargers defense. All of a sudden, is that what it's going to be? It's going to be, just a complete shootout. It's going to be a complete smash game, hit the over. but Jacksonville somehow keeps everybody in it. It's like that Gardner Minshew game.
And you know what? If it was anybody except for Jacksonville, honestly, if it was the Jets getting 14, I may take the Jets in this spot. But my fear is, we talked about this a little bit on the live stream, is that if Marrone gets funky and puts Glennon in, you're done. You're going to get killed because Glennon's not good. So, I mean, imagine that. Like, let's say the Chargers are up 13-3 at the half, right? You have Minshew, you're feeling like, oh, a touchdown puts you right back in it. What happens if they change quarterbacks? You're done. You're done. I mean, look, to be in the NFL, you got to be a great player, and so let's give Glennon his due in terms of that, but I don't want him anywhere near a pick of mine.
And I'm fine with that. 100% fine with that. Saints-Panthers, 7.5.
This is a tough one, man. I want to have a good opinion here, but this is a very tough one for me.
I agree, especially when you're looking at the fact that the Saints are losing weapons left and right. No Michael Thomas. Emmanuel Sanders has the COVID. So all of a sudden now all the receivers are down.
Yeah.
But Panthers don't handle the run very well.
No, they don't. That's the fight for me with this, is because their defense is not good, but their offense is fantastic. Brady's done a great job with them, Joe Brady and Rule. I love the way that they're playing. But does it matter with Breeze? You know, who knows? With maybe Kamara gets 200 yards, maybe Taysom Hill is throwing and catching.
Latavius Murray, they're just grinded out on the ground with Murray.
I'm not strong enough to take Carolina here. It would be the only way I would go is Carolina, especially with 7.5 in the contest. That's for sure. But I'm gonna pass on it. I wish I had. I want to take Carolina here. I can't do it because they're another team where I think I know that they're a lot better than we thought, but this is kind of the game that I also need to see them just keep it close. That'll feel really good about them going forward.
Yeah. Last game that we haven't talked about here so far, Bengals-Browns. Bengals are a home dog, 3 points. I got to be perfectly honest, I'm kind of leaning Bengals. Baker Mayfield not playing very well at all, still banged up. I think losing Nick Chubb takes a lot away from their ability to really run the ball. I get it. Kareem Hunt,
he's not Chubb though. He doesn't grind it out at the end of the game.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, unless they're gonna use Dearness Johnson a lot more. I gotta
play that guy this week. I have no choice. I'm literally down to nothing. So yeah. So here's my fear with the Bengals. How many times can they come close to winning and covering before it gets in their head that's my concern for the Bengals is they're playing close, they lose. They're playing close, they lose. Eventually, they stop playing close. It's just what happens in the NFL, and it's not that they give up. Right. It's just the fight isn't there once you get to week 7, week 8, week 9. So I'm with you. It would be my lean, but not strong enough to take it for me. Not strong enough.
All right.
I think we have one more, Kansas City, Denver.
Do we though?
I would lean Kansas City and not think twice. That would be my opinion. I could not take Denver here. Denver great in September, and that's the end. I mean, look, I would have last week. I'm not surprised Denver covered. I am shocked that they beat New England. To me, I don't know. Was that the biggest upset of the season? I mean, we'd have to go back and look at it. I think it's got to be up there, top 2 or 3 thus far.
Jaguars Colts week 1.
Jaguars Colts week 1. Yeah, that's number 1. So this one's number 2.
Yeah, definitely. And it wasn't even the Broncos. It was all Brandon McManus.
Yeah. 3rd and 2, field goal. 4th and 1, field goal. 4th and 1, field goal. It's like, oh my
gosh. So there you have it, everybody. Those are our leans for the picks that we did not make. If you need me to say it one more time, Lions plus 2.5, Seattle giving 3.5, Bucks giving 3.5, Steelers getting 1, Bears getting 6. Book it. You can check everything out at wageralarm.com. We'll have that ticket posted as soon as we get it, the picture of it. You'll have it before those games even start tomorrow morning, Sunday morning. So, yeah. Craig, any final thoughts here before we get out?
No, I think that when you're in the super contest like we are, and there have been some fantastic, somebody got off to an 18-2 start. And again, And there are some people that are hitting about 70% that will come down a little bit. But to cash in the Super Contest, as crazy as it sounds, you can be 500 through 7 or 8 weeks. Once you go 4-1 or 5-0, it puts you in the money because you're right there at 55% at that point. So we are literally one really good week away from cashing, and so hopefully it is this week.
Hopefully it is this week. All right, that's going to do it for us here at Wager Alarm. For big thanks to Matt Sells, our producer. For Craig Mish, I'm Howard Bender. We'll catch you next time.